There's nothing more I enjoy than a really tasty risotto. And for this recipe, I'm using this beautiful Irish brown crab. So this is what the whole crab looks like. If you've seen some of my recipes, we've used the crab toes or the claws, you know, kind of jazz them up. We've done lots of lovely recipes using this beautiful crab in a salad with mango. It's so versatile. So if you're looking for fresh crab meat, this is what you're looking for here, the lumpy crab meat, the white crab meat. This is cooked, it's pasteurized. You know, you'll get it in your supermarket, you'll also get it off your local fishmonger. So it's really important that we support our Irish fishermen, and that's because they work so hard. And like, I'm going to show you how to make a light and very, very simple and quick risotto. I already have one kind of half cooked or 3/4 cooked. We're going to finish it off, but I'm going to put some very interesting flavors. So crab can take on a lot of interesting spices, which I think work really well. For this, I'm going to put in some turmeric and some curry powder, a little bit of chorizo sausage, and then we're going to dice some onion and garlic. So that's going to be the base. So when you're chopping the onion, we're going to chop it nice and small. So just half an onion is fine for this. And then we're going to cut this. And then we're going to curve our fingers and we're going to dice this nice and small. Now I'm just going to heat my pan. And we're going to pick a nice, if you can pick a nice kind of like a wide pan, like this skillet pan that I'm going to use here is perfect for doing the risotto. So the risotto should cook in about 20-25 minutes or thereabouts, and that really depends if your stock is warm. So I'll talk you through all that. So it's really, really simple, and really because the crab is cooked and pasteurized, that it will that all you're doing is popping it in at the last few minutes just to warm it through. So try and dice the onion. You can use regular onion. I like red onion, but I also make this risotto with regular white onion too. So what we could do is just heat our pan. Actually, I'll bring it over here beside the stock. And then we're going to use some nice Irish rapeseed oil. So we're going to use some lovely Irish ingredients. So the rapeseed oil first. We're going to crush 1 clove of garlic, or you can use 2 depending on the size. So we're going to put these in here, and this is going to be the base for the risotto. So risotto is an Italian dish, and they use a rice called arborio rice or cannelloni rice. So I'm going to use the arborio rice, and I'll talk you through that in a moment. So you cook it nice and slowly. So 2 cloves of garlic go in there, and then I like to put a little bit of butter into the pan. So 2 cubes of butter, just kind of just melt them, and then I'll just pop in just with my knife just the onion and the garlic. So just lift them in there and they go straight into the middle of the pan. Now you want to turn that down. You don't want to colour it, you just want to soften it just for literally about a minute, because it can burn really, really quickly, so you don't want that. You don't want that. Okay, now, so that's on there, and I'm going to just give it a little stir now, so I am. Okay, so just stir this, and that's it there. So into this some nice chorizo sausage. So this is some really delicious, so it's kind of like a spicy Spanish sausage. So it works exceptionally well. So this is the raw variety here. We're just going to dice this, and we're going to pop this into the pan. Now you can cut into smaller cubes if you want to, and I think it works really well. You get that lovely smoked paprika. So it's quite an interesting recipe this, because we're using lots of spices. And then we're going to finish it with some lovely lemon. So that goes in, and that will just release a little bit of the oil, and the same for this too. So we want to cook this just for another minute, and then we'll start adding in our spices. So kind of cube it into nice large cubes. So that's that there. Okay, so that's our lovely chorizo sausage in there. Just give that a little stir. Lovely. Now you can see the oil coming out. I'm just going to bring up the heat a little bit. I'm not really looking to colour the onion, that's really important. Now what we are going to talk about is these lovely spices. We're going to use some lovely turmeric, and then we're going to use some mild curry powder. So it's not a very hot spicy dish, and I just need to get just a small little teaspoon. So we'll put in our turmeric first, so 1 teaspoonful of that, and then we're going to put in 2 of the curry powder. Now into that we're going to add in our rice, and this is the arborio rice. I'll just show it to you there. Beautiful actually in a rice pudding. If you like a dessert, it really is gorgeous, so it is in that. So what I like to do with that is just simply just sprinkle in the arborio rice, just cover the base of the pan, and then you literally need to coat it. Okay, so that's roughly about 3.5-4 ounces of rice there, and you'll pick that up again in any supermarket. So risotto should really be made with the arborio rice. It's the most readily available. Now we're going to deglaze. It's going to be a little bit noisy. We're going to add in some white wine into this. So a good splash of this. And people often ask, you know, what kind of wine do you cook with? Well, if it's not good enough to drink, it's not good enough to cook with, but never an expensive wine. So you just let this cook out for a moment. So you're just cooking out the alcohol of this. And I mean, like, I love making a risotto even with some mushrooms, some vegetables. You know, I've done it with some lovely Dublin Bay prawns, some langoustines, but crab works really well because Irish brown crab has the most beautiful, sweet, gorgeous flavour, and it's become really popular. And if you've seen lots of my videos, it's very versatile in a salad. You know, we've done lots of lovely recipes even with pasta, so you make sure you get the lovely Irish brown crab meat. So that's it all reduced there, and what we're going to do now is slowly add in our stock. So this is a vegetable stock cube. It's called from a brand name called Callo, so it's low in salt because stock cubes are full of salt. Now in the restaurant we make our own vegetable stock, but there's a bit more work to that. So we're just going to put in, and when the stock is hot, everyone, the risotto will definitely cook much faster. So you just literally stir this in here and then bring it back to the boil and then let it simmer. That's really important. There's a saying that a risotto boiled is a risotto spoiled, and that's a really good tip for you. So let that simmer away there. Now the key is to slowly add in the stock. So I'll just let that stir there. You can see the lovely turmeric coming through. You can put in a little bit of harissa spice, you could put in some chili. Again, all these flavours work really, really well. That's why I think, you know, Irish brown crab is one of the most versatile shellfish. And what makes our crab so delicious is the clean, pristine waters, to be honest with you. And like, I've had the pleasure of being on the boat with lots of fishermen and to see how hard they work. The farming community also in Ireland, but the fisher community too, they work exceptionally hard. And we're an island, and I think we should be eating more fish, and particularly more lovely Irish brown crab. So another ladle full of this. So this is the technique. So this, you let this slowly cook. I'd probably bring it to a lower jet, but I already have one started here, which I'm just going to kind of play musical chairs, because it does take about 20-25 minutes for the risotto to cook out. So it does, because you want it al dente, which means that the rice is just firm to the bite, not that it's raw. That's definitely not what you want. So this is I had this on here for nearly 15 minutes. I'm going to warm this up now. I'm going to add in some stock. So with the raw one, you keep adding in the stock, you let it cook out. This one just needs to come back here into the boil, and then we just simply just finish it off. So it's more or less cooked. Now when do we add the crab? Because the crab is cooked, it only goes in at the last minute. So I'm just going to put a little bit more of this, and we're going to make this really nice and creamy. So I'm going to add in some frozen peas, and I'm going to add in some mascarpone cheese and lots of lovely fresh herbs. So, and of course Parmesan cheese. So there's lots of really lovely flavours in this. We'll finish it with some lemon zest. These are just some frozen peas, or you can use some fresh peas which are in season at the minute. Put them in kind of now, but the last maybe 3 to 4 minutes, because they're just going to they're going to cook very, very fast. And I wouldn't put them in at the start because they'll be completely overcooked. So we just stir this through here. And then remember, when the risotto or when the stock is hot, it definitely cooks the rice much quicker. So I'll just switch that off there. So another ladle full of that. So you want your risotto that it's a lovely kind of soft dropping consistency. So we're just going to bring that to the boil. Just turn that up there. Perfect. Lovely. And then I'm going to just prepare some herbs. I'm going to put in some lovely basil. So I have some lovely basil here. You could use coriander, which works really, really well. I'll just grab some of this, and then we're going to pop this in. And I also have some coriander to decorate. So some beautiful fresh basil. This is the time of year for lovely Irish basil. And it's a herb that is just so pungent and beautiful. So if you get a little plant like that, just keep it watered, keep it kind of like, you know, that you have a nice kind of like circulation of air and that you have a little bit of daylight. So normally you would just literally tear basil, but I'm going to chop this and I'm going to add this in a minute, and then we're going to finish it with the cheeses. So just watch the fingers here. Okay, so fresh basil works really, really well. So that's a little chiffonade, and then we're going to chop this really, really small. So using the large chef's knife. So that's our basil done, and then I'll grate my lemon just to have that done, and we can put the two of them in together. So some lemon zest, just using my grater, just on top of the basil, and that's going to give lovely freshness. So I'll give that a little stir now in a minute, because we need to season up the risotto. And you need to be careful there, because say you were using some smoked bacon, which I'm not, I'm using the chorizo. So you could, it could be a little bit salty, and depending on what stock cube you use too. Okay, so let's just give this a stir. That's cooking up nicely. You can see the nice little chunks of the chorizo. The peas are defrosting. We're going to add in our lovely crab. So this is the Irish brown crab meat, okay? So this is nice chunky crab meat. So it's got very, very popular. We use it a lot in the restaurant and people just love it, so they do. So I'll probably put half of this in here. And move that over there. And all you're doing is just literally warming this through. We're going to put in some salt. We're going to put in some black pepper, and this is optional. I like black pepper, but again, it's optional. And then our lovely mascarpone cheese. So this is a creamy Italian cheese. Now this is optional. If you were to use one or the other, I would definitely use the Parmesan cheese because that is gorgeous. So just I'm going to grate a little bit of this. Use the same grater, save in the wash up, that you've used for the lemon zest. You could put lime into it, but I think lemon works really well. So you're just warming through the crab. Remember that it's already cooked, it's pasteurized, and it's so sweet and delicious. So you want to counteract that with some lovely lemon, get a little bit of zing. So that's the lemon and the fresh basil, which we just literally cut into small little strips. We've already it seasoned, and then we just need to stir this through here. So I said you want a really lovely kind of soft consistency. The turmeric is optional, but I think it gives lovely colour to it. So it does. You could use saffron, but it's probably 3 times or 4 times the price of turmeric. It's very expensive. But these lovely flavours here, so there's a lot of kind of like interesting flavours, and you have the texture from the peas, the chorizo, and that lovely soft, delicate, sweet crab meat, which is gorgeous. So that's what we have. We're ready to serve up. We need to taste it, because the most important thing is you taste it. If you think it's a little bit hard, cook it a little bit more, but don't overcook it. What they say in Italy, that it's al dente, so it means that it's just cooked, just firm to the bite. The curry works really good. You could use leeks, courgettes, anything like that would work really well. So just to serve it up, it's really good. And the crab is just delicious in this. So switch this off. The chorizo doesn't overpower it. You don't have to use it. You could just use the rice, and you could just use the vegetables and then finish it. But if you look at that lovely soft consistency, see that? So that's exactly what you want. And that will take a good 20 to 5 minutes, depending on how many portions. And remember, making a risotto, it's a great one for all the family to enjoy. Just try and do it in a nice big wide pan, and then use that lovely Irish brown crab meat. I think that's more than enough. So to serve that, you can put a little bit more grated Parmesan just over the top. A little bit like that. And then we have some lovely little micro coriander just from our own garden. And just arrange that. It's a little bit chefy, that. A little bit more. And there you have it. It couldn't be easier. So remember to get that lovely Irish brown crab meat of your local fishmonger in your local supermarket. This is what it looks like here. It's already cooked, the Irish brown crab meat. This one here is from Castletownbere, Shellfish Ireland, and that is my lovely crab, chorizo and pea risotto with some lemon zest and some basil. And enjoy this lovely Irish brown crab. Thank you so much.